Shalom, shalom, shalom. Israel and brother Kazak.
Brother Kasadia.
And I'm Brother Aharon.
And we are the sons of Zion Israelites, and we're coming to you with another video in the series Faith by Works, where we present and shine light on a commandment every week, and we learn how to put forth the works and loving the Most High God with action, man. So this is the book of Colossians, chapter 3, and verse number 17, and it reads, "And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shah, giving thanks to Yahweh the Father by Him." So everything that we do in word or deed, we do all in the name of the Lord. All right. All right. We glorify the Most High God by way of His Son. That's why we say, Call halal Yahweh by Shem, wa Malak Yahweh Shah. That's giving all honor and glory to the who the world ignorantly calls God by way of His Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Right. So this is the book of James, chapter 2 and verse 26. For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. So many people say that they have faith in the Most High God. Many people say that they believe in the Most High God and that they fear the Most High God. We're presenting a sufficient amount of fear, all right, great reverence, and having faith in the Most High God requires works. It requires action, which means you got to keep the commandments. And we're going to learn week in and week out one commandment so we can strive to become 1% better. All right. Because faith without works is dead. All right. I'm going to pass it to Brother Kasadi.
Khan. Uh, Before we get started, let me get the book of Proverbs, chapter 4. Salakia. And verse number 5 says, Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. Right? It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruit of thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine. So we're here today to teach our people, and week in and week out to teach our people that it's all about doing the Lord's will, because the Lord is who's going to sustain you. It's not about doing what's in your own mind, doing what you think is best, doing what pleases you. At the end of the day, we are here to please the Most High, to keep His laws, statutes, and commandments, to love Him with our whole heart and with our whole mind and all of our strength. Anything else is idolatry, and that'll be what we're going in today. Now, yeah.
Con. Thought the brother's gonna get some more, man. Brother got straight to the point. Con, let me get this. This is the book of First Samuel, chapter 1 and this is First Samuel chapter 15 and verse 23, Slaki. It says, For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he also rejected thee from being king. Right? Now, this is an account that Samuel is speaking to Saul about, but that don't just go for Saul, it goes for all of Israel, right? Idolatry and iniquity and witchcraft, rebellion, right? Rebellion is idolatry. So when we rebel against the words of the Most High God and go after our own ways, our own heart's desire, like the brother just said, instead of trusting in the Lord with all our heart, but we go after the things that come to our own mind, that is idolatry, right? And that's what our people do by and large as a whole, right? We're always going following whatever our heart tell us to do. Whatever we see somebody else do that looks good, we just follow that way, right? We follow the ways of the heathen. We follow the ways of our own people that are in wickedness and that do not know the ways of the Lord. We have been conformed by this world, but yet we don't seek the Lord to be conformed and renew the spirit of our mind to follow after the Most High God, right? I got the book of Jeremiah, chapter 44, and verse number 15. and 16, right? I'm gonna just read on down. It says, then all the men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by, a great multitude, even all the people that dwelt in the land of Egypt in Patros, answered Jeremiah, saying, now see, they knew that their wives had went into idolatry, yet they had that Adam spirit behind it, right? Verse 16, as for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of Yahweh, we will not hearken unto you, right? That's wicked, man. They straight up told Jeremiah, like, hey, look, we ain't listening to God and we ain't listening to you. Just like in Ezekiel, the Lord say, they don't listen to me, so they ain't gonna listen to you. And they straight up said it. Like that's bold. A lot of our people have that in their heart now. They just don't say it, but at least they was being real about it. Like, we ain't listening to you, and we ain't doing the words that the Lord said. That's evil, man. That's rebellion, which is witchcraft and idolatry. Verse 17. But we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth to burn incense unto the Queen of heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, and our princes in the city of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of victuals, and were well, and saw no evil. So they telling Jeremiah that, hey, when we did these things, when we worshiped other gods, that's when we had the most. That's when we had wealth and food and all of those things. When we followed after other gods, the Queen of Heaven and Baal and all this other, that's wickedness. That's madness. When the Most High God blessed our people hands continually, but we constantly wanted to sin against Him, commit idolatry, not love our brothers and our sisters, man, and the Most High jack you up and put you into poverty, but He'll also bless your hand if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Yet they did not want to hearken unto the Most High God, nor the words that Jeremiah spoke on behalf of the Most High God. Right? Let me give you one more, and this just describes the mentality of our people today. The Book of Judges, chapter 21 and verse 25. In those days there was no king in Israel. Just like today, we don't have a king. Now we know our true king is Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, right? But every man did that which was right in his own eyes. And that's what our people do. If it look good, it feel good, it make me feel good. It's always a I think or I feel or YOLO. It is what it is. I'm just going with the flow. That's the mentality that our people have today, right? That's the mentality that our people live by, right? And Slocky, one more. Second Timothy chapter 3 and verse 2. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heedy, high minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, right? That's idolatry, man. They literally are going against everything that the Most High God has commanded us to do. Straight up rebellion, which is straight up witchcraft, which is straight up idolatry. Find they rather have the love of their pleasures more than the love that the Most High God has bestowed unto us and showed us His way and to walk in His ways. And with that, I yield.
Con, brother made some mighty points, man. Just to clear up, if anybody's just entering in, you know what I'm saying, um, um, and have a misunderstanding on what this video is about, what it's on idolatry. Okay, a commandment that we're highlighting is Exodus chapter 20, verse 3. It says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." All right, and the actual official definition of idolatry is when an extreme admiration, love, or reverence for someone or something is put before the Most High. Okay, in any way, shape, or form. All right, a love, an extreme admiration, or reverence for someone or something is put before the Most High God. And what are three ways that we do this? Right today, the brother made some mighty points, and I'm gonna let me back off of him. Right, feelings and emotions, opinions, like the brother was going into. Right, I got the book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 25. Right, and it says, "The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe." So what you have to understand is it's a never ending process when you're trying to get the approval. All right. And when you're trying to live up to a certain person's standards, when you're showing a great admiration to what somebody thinks about you, that's a form of idolatry, man. And our people do it day in and day out. Right? It's okay to have great respect for your brother. You're supposed to. You're supposed to treat him delicate. All right? You're supposed to treat him with respect. All right? And if the brother has righteous rebuke for you, guess what? You're supposed to hearken unto it. But when you show an excessive amount of reverence unto him, when you have a respecter of persons, and when you're trying to get and do things, all right, for his approval, now you're going off into idolatry. All right. And let me get the book of Acts, chapter 5, and verse 29, the classic. And it says, "Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, We ought to obey God rather than men." All right. So we ought to obey God rather than men. Right. Verse 30, "The God of our fathers raised up Yahweh, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. Him hath God exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins." So what you have to realize is you have to not dwell, all right, in a way of trying to uh, uh, impress others. All right. When you're too invested in what others think, you start to go off into idolatry, right? And when you're putting feelings before the Most High God and opinions before the Most High God, you're going off into idolatry. Okay. Let me get another precept. All right. We're going to go to Galatians chapter 5. Right. Galatians 5 and verse 16. And it reads, "This I say then, walk in the spirit." And what spirit? The spirit of Yahweh, right? And it says, "And ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh, for the flesh lusteth lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary, Salakia, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the spirit of Yahweh, and not, the opinions of others and not your own feelings and opinions, right? Ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, immolations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies." And it goes on and on and on. Because when you value the opinions of others, and when you put your opinions and your feelings before the Most High God, you go off into all of these different forms of idolatries listed. And it says what? You have to walk in the spirit. Walk in the spirit of Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Shah follows and has great reverence unto the Most High God, right? He's a follower of the Most High. Therefore, we have to be a follower of Christ and walk in the spirit of Christ, right? Not committing idolatry, not putting our feelings in the lust of our flesh, right? And all of the opinions and feelings that we have first, but putting him first, right? Another way, let me see. Let me get 2 Peter, right? Let me get 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 10. And it reads, "But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government." Our people despise government, man. They say, I just feel like, you know, people should be able to do whatever they want to do and not be judged. That's despising the government of the Most High God, right? And it says what? Presumptuous are they, self willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignities. And that's plain, man. That's very, very plain. Our people are not afraid to speak their mind, speak after the evil flesh that they have, right? They despise correction, they despise judgment, order, all right, and they're self-willed, right? Another way that our people commit idolatry today, right? You go on the bio of each individual's Instagram page, and it says a lot about, you know, what they value and what they put first in their life, right? For an example, ball is life, hashtag I sing, right? Football is my life, the streets made me. All of these different foolish sayings that our people do, man, we got to put them away, right? Because we're recognizing it to be our idol, right? We're recognizing it to be our God, right? We're recognizing it to be our creation and what we're heavily invested in mentally and spiritually, right? So let's get the book of Luke, chapter 10 and verse 27, right? This is the book of Luke, chapter 10 and verse number 27. And it reads, I'm going to start at 26. He said unto them, what is written in the law? How readest thou? Verse 27. And he answering and said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy strength and with all thy mind and their neighbor as thyself. Right. So when you go into, you know, the different mentalities that our people adapt to in these sports, right? When we talking about football, for an example, you literally have to what they like to say, breathe, eat, and shit football. And they also develop an evil eye towards their brother. Whoever is put in front of me, I'm gonna run through them. I'm gonna destroy them, right? And when you become heavily infatuated with that, you start to go off into idolatry, man. You start to go off. You start to do exactly the opposite of the scripture. It says, love thy neighbor as thyself, right? And it says to love thy Lord, thy God, with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy strength. But when you go into Baller's Life, when you go into icing, right? When you look at the interviews of all of these different singers, all right, celebrities, right, actors per se, right, and all of these different athletes, they say they had to be obsessed with their craft in order to master it, in order to be the best of the best, right? So they had to go into some type of form of idolatry, right? Putting the craft of acting, putting the craft of basketball, putting the craft of football first before the Most High God in order to master that. And we have to be very, very careful. Now, I want to make sure that I'm very clear on this topic. There's nothing wrong with playing football. There's nothing wrong with a friendly game of basketball, right? There's nothing wrong with singing, but give great praises unto the Most High God in everything that you do. The leading precept that we always bring out is what? Colossians 3:17. In word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shah. So when you play basketball, do it in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shah. When you sing, give praises unto the Lord Yahweh Shah. Glorify your Lord in your craft, but don't become heavily infatuated with your craft excessively, putting it as your God, right? I'm going to get another precept, right? We're going to go to the book of Sirach, right? We're going to go to the book of Sirach, chapter 43 and verse 30. All right. And it reads, when ye glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as ye can, for even yet will he far exceed. And when ye exalt him, put forth all your strength and be not weary, for ye can never go far enough. So whatever you do with all your might, all right, with all your strength, it needs to be glorifying the Most High God. It shouldn't be a basketball, all right? Shouldn't be Spalding. Shouldn't be a microphone. It shouldn't be motherhood, right? And all of these different things, right? And I said motherhood because a lot of our women, they say, what? I'm a mother first. My babies are my life. Y'all are my lifeline. No, the Most High God is your lifeline. And if you don't recognize him as your God and the most important thing in your life, he'll take them things from you. He'll take the people from you. Anything that you're putting forth before him, right? Tapping into the definition we mentioned before. It's when you have an extreme admiration, love, or reverence for someone or something is put before the Most High God. That's what idolatry is, right? I'm gonna get one more topic and then I'm gonna pass it to the brother Kasadi, right? We're gonna go to the wisdom of Solomon for this one, right? Because what do our people do, right? When you go to our people's houses, what do you see on their dressers, right? What do you see on our people's rearview mirrors, right? Hey, what do you see around our people's neck? This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse number 8. And it reads, but that which is made with hands is cursed, as well it as he that made it. He because he made it, and it because being corruptible, it was called God, right? So our people refer to these things as God. They pray unto him, and they think that they can't communicate with the Most High God without him, right? That's off, right? Verse 9, for the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful unto God. For that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the create, because in the creature of the Most High they are become an abomination and stumbling blocks to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise. So you have to understand that the Most High God is saying what? That the idols as well as the idol worshipers will be destroyed, right? I'm gonna read verse 12, and then I'm gonna read verse 14, and I'm gonna pass it. And it reads this: for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life. Verse 14, for by the vain glory of men they entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. So you have to understand that the idols and the idol worshipers, all right, will be destroyed. So you have to put away the rosaries. You have to put away the crosses around your rearview mirror. Hey man, you need to stop tattooing the rosary around your wrist. Hey, it's important that you do what? You destroy all of those different wood crafted angels, whitewashed angels that's on your dresser. This happens with a lot of our Northern Kingdom brothers and sisters, right? When you look on their dressers, when you look on the back of their the bumper stickers on the back of their vehicles, they have whitewashed images. First of all, that's not how our people look. Second of all, the Most High God commands us not to make graven images, all right? Because you have to design them in the man's face, all right? But I yield there.
Brother's cooking. So I'm gonna let me back off of what brother's bringing out. He's going into graven images as being one of the ways our people commit idolatry. And why does that make sense, right? If we continue to where the brother left off in Exodus chapter 20 and verse 3, you know what, I'm gonna put it in Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse number 8. It says, thou shalt not make thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. The Most High is not messing with these Jesus pieces, man. That's what that's what you see on Jake all day, every day. To talk about a Jesus piece, right? They got an iced out Edomite hanging around their neck. Sometimes it's headless. Sometimes he hanging on the cross like that's supposed to be. No, man, that's off. It's an off thing, right? With the book of Psalms, chapter 78, in verse number 58, it says, "Yet they tempted and provoked the Most High and kept not His testimony, but turned back and dealt unfaithfully like their fathers. They were turned aside like a deceitful bow." Graven images are not a new thing. There's nothing new under the sun. Our fathers were doing it way back since the Lord first got us out of Egypt the first time, right? They were making graven images. They were making the golden calves, right? When the Most High was literally giving commandments to his servant Moses for the people. They were making golden calves to sin against the Lord, right? How does the Lord feel about that? Book of Isaiah, chapter 42 and verse 8. It says, I am the Lord, that is my name. And my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. The Most High is not dealing with these graven images. You can kind of draw a picture, right, of older looking Jake. He can have the biggest afro. It'd be white, and he have burnished brass skin. The second you make that image, you just going against the commandment that we just read in Deuteronomy chapter 5, right? Thou shalt not make thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above or that is in the earth beneath, right? Be not wise in your own eyes, as it says in Proverbs. You can say that you're making this image of your Lord of the Bible and you want to worship it. No, that's being wise in your own eyes. That's rebellion, as Brother Aharon brought out earlier. And rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, right? And either way you look at it, you're doing what seems right to you. That is idolatry. Let me get the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, and verse number 25. It says, there is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Following your own mind, this do it I want spirit, is probably the biggest way we see our people committing idolatry to this day, right? Everybody got that YOLO spirit. You only live once. Do it for the gram, do it for the Snapchat, do it for the Vine. I don't know what they doing. I'm getting old, right? I don't know what the kids doing these days, but they doing it for everything on social media. They're literally boasting themselves up against the Most High. Your brother brought it out earlier in the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3. Let me pull that. Salaki. And verse number 2, and it reads, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection. Let's stop there real quick, right? Disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. Everybody's doing what is right to them. Everybody's doing what pleases their own heart, mind, psyche, whatever, right? That they are not taking heed to wisdom that is coming their way, whether it be from the Most High, whether it be from older generation that have seen things and have done things and have had worn the t-shirt, so to speak, right? It says, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. These pleasures, these are your idols. And the Most High says that you love these things over him, right? When you choose to go your own way and not keep the ways, laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High ordained for us. We get this in the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, and verse 15. It says, shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth therewith? You got to kind of think about that, right? It's like, I got this PlayStation controller, right? And this PlayStation controller is telling me that it can whoop my ass in 2K. That doesn't make any sense. That's heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, right? That's the axe boasting itself against him that heweth therewith, right? It says, or shall the saw magnify itself against him that shaketh it, as if the rod should shake itself against them that lift it up? Or is it the staff should lift up itself as if it were no wood, right? It's twofold. The brother brought out making graven images, making these false idols, right? The creation and the creator being evil, right? How much more so are we in the eyes of the Most High who created all? And we're deciding in ourselves that we're going to do what we want to do. Again, Proverbs 16 and 25, there is a way that seems right to a man, but the end thereof, but the but the end thereof are the ways of death. Right? Let me get the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17. Classic precept. We already started 17 and 4, but let me get 17 and 5. It says, thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man that trusteth in man and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from the Lord. Right? The brother was bringing out eloquently, trusting in people, being worried about how people view you, your social hierarchy, so to speak. You're trusting in man. You're making flesh your arm. You're making something that will perish your power, is what that's saying. When the Most High is supposed to be your power. The Most High, the one that gave you laws, statutes, and commandments for thy good, so that you can live and prosper in the land which he gave it to our forefathers. You're departing from him and cleaving unto your own understanding, right? It says, jump down to verse 9, right? The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? It's your heart that's making you think that all of these things are right. That heart is connected to the flesh. Everybody knows that your brain is your control center for the rest of your body, right? And the rest of your body sends signals to your brain. If your heart, the Lord said, is deceitful above all things, where do you think that deceit is being fueled from? You're making flesh your arm. And with that, I yield.
Khan, man. Khan, the brother spoke mighty in the spirit, man. The mighty Kasadia, man. But yeah, let me get to it. So another way that our people, you know, go into these idolatrous ways and these idolatrous concepts, one of the biggest strongholds on our people, in my eyesight, is this covetous spirit, man. This which is idolatry as well, because you design things so bad and it caused you to not serve your God, to go off and commit idolatry. It caused you to not seek him, right? Because you're unhappy with the things that he has given you. It causes you to be willing to steal, kill, and take from people. You might take somebody last $200, but that was their light bill money. That's all they had. You know what I'm saying? That's all they had. And you're willing to do that to your own people because you have a covetous spirit, not because it's something that you need, but it might be something that you just want or desire. You know what I'm saying? I know people that's then lost their life behind a pair of Jordans, man. Right? That's a strong, evil, covetous spirit, man, because you're worried about being seen. Right? I'm gonna get the book of First Timothy, chapter 6 and verse 10. I'm gonna start at 9. No, I'm slacking. I'm gonna start at 7. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain that we could carry nothing out. We heard that saying before, right? You know, you gonna die with nothing. You came in with nothing, you gonna die with nothing, right? But yet, all we worried about is money and materialistic things as a people, right? 8, verse 8, and having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. We should be content with food and clothing, you know, the natural things that we need as a man. Like it says in Sirach, you know, we got shelter, water, food, fire, clothing. We good, right? Verse 9, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition, right? For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows, right? So the love of money causes you to be covetous, man, and will cause you to err from the faith, right? And you're gonna do nothing but bring many sorrows upon you and your household, probably, and upon many people, right? With that covetous, idolatrous spirit of greed, just wanting money, 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 right? But thou, O man of God, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness. Fight the good fight of faith. Lay hold on eternal life, wherewith thou art also called and has professed a good profession before many witnesses. Right? So we can't be worried about this world and the things it has to offer. The greed, this money, this society is built off of just money, 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 money. I gotta get it at any cost. Hey, Eliphaz, gold is my god. That's what his name means, man. Right? If I'm not mistaken, and that's one of Esau's sons. That's the spirit Esau has, and that's the spirit that we've inherited being in Babylon. This is our third time around being enslaved to Esau, right? And we take on nothing but his ways, man. And when the Lord literally speaks against that, right? Get this. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse number 1. Hear ye the words of the Lord, which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be ye not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them, right? So, first off, we shouldn't be learning none of their ways. That's straight up what it is. Second off, they're dismayed at the stars of heaven. They the ones that started this idolatry, right? Leo and all of this other stuff, right? What is it supposed to be?
That,
Taurus or whatever,
that
right?
astrology spirit, right? You
Yeah,
can't
astrology, like the brothers were speaking, man. Like they the ones who do this. And the first thing our people say, what's your sign? And Jake, you be going off. I could see Eve silly, but Jake, I was training the Jake last week, and the first thing Jake said, he said, "Man, you got a spirit kind of like me, man. What month you was born, brother? Huh?" And I said, "Man, I was born in July." Or what you a cancer? I say, nah, but I say I don't believe in none of that, bro. I don't like I had that Wakanda spirit. We don't do that over here, man. Nah, man, we don't do that. He was talking about, nah, I don't really believe in it too, man, but some of it be real, man. Some of it be brother. I say, hey, the Lord say he gonna send people strong delusions, man, that they shall believe a lie, right? That's part of that stumbling block that's placed before our people to go off and to commit idolatry, right? Because their hearts are not sincere. They're not sincere on serving the Lord. So now they're easily susceptible to fall into these other things. And because you don't know who you are, what you are, and where you come from, now you're just willing to conform easily to this world and to this society, right? Bring out something else, right? Let me get this precept. Slack. And this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, right? And I'm gonna start at verse 16. Now it's talking about the king, right? We are kings and priests, right? And there's wisdom in these scriptures, and we have to apply it to our life, right? We start at verse 16. But he should not multiply horses to himself, right? We want the baddest cars, right? The baddest rides, right? And we're gonna multiply it. T.I. on the interview said, man, one of his first big checks, I don't know, I think he said he bought two McLarens or something like that, $200,000-$300,000 cars. And he said as he was signing the paper, he was like, damn, I can't drive both of them. And he told his wife, Tiny, he was like, hey, you drive that one right there. And she like, nah, I want to ride with you. And at that moment, he realized that he messed up, right? And bought two, $300,000 cars that he gonna have to alternate driving, that he can't drive at the same time. That's wicked, man, right? It's that same spirit, man. It says, do not multiply horses into himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, right? Return to slavery, to the end that he should multiply horses. For as much as the Lord has said unto you, you shall henceforth return no more that way. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away. Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold, right? And the point of me bringing this out, of course, you could have multiple wives. Of course, you could be rich. You could have a lot of silver and gold. Of course, you could have a lot of vehicles if that's what if you got it right. But to just be multiplying it out of a covetous spirit, you just worried about money. You worried about being seen by Eve and by Jake. You worried about how the world perceives you. That's a idolatrous, covetous spirit, man. That's an evil thing to have. A lot of time, most of the time, people like that will literally do anything to get it. They want all the women, the baddest women, not because they really love them or they're trying to guide them to the Most High. None of those things. It's just I just want to. I just gotta have it, brother. I just gotta have it. I need all the money. I'm chasing the bag, right? That's the mentality of our people. That's evil, man. That's evil, right? Watch this. And then our people envy this. Yeah, watch this. The book of Sirach, chapter 9 and verse 11. Envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end, right? Delight not in the thing that the ungodly have pleasure in, but remember, they shall not go unpunished unto their grave, right? And we envy these people, man. We envy these things. People living their best life, and we envy. Oh, they went to trip on Dubai. Oh, I want to go. You don't know what's out there, and you really can't afford it, right? But you just want to go. Last year, that sister got locked up. She went out there and she got to talking loud to them people. Ishmael and them don't play that. And you have this envy spirit towards your own people, and you don't know what's going to be their end. Their end is possibly death and destruction. But you want to fall after them. You want to slip back into the world, right? You want to go after these things, right? Watch this. Let me get the book of Second Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 9. It says, then shall they be in a pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments, for such as in their life have received benefits, right? They was getting a bag, they had all kind of stuff, but and they received money, riches, fame, glory, women, all these things, right? And have not known me. These people do not know the Most High. And they that have loathed my law, meaning hated and despised my law, right? While they had yet liberty to repent, right? Because the blood of Christ was shed for us, right? And when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not but despised it, the same must know it after death by pain, right? The same must know it after death by pain. That's strong, man. That's not something that's good or something that we are to rejoice in, man. We have to be different. This is my last one. This is the book of Second Corinthians, chapter 6, right? And I'm gonna start at 14. It says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion have light with dark? We're supposed to be children of the light, children of the day. We're not supposed to walk in darkness, right? We're supposed to be different and separate. Even amongst our own people, we have to separate ourselves from the evil, idolatrous ways that we have been taught, right? Verse 15. And what concord have Christ with Baal? Or what part have he that believeth with an infidel, which is an unbeliever, right? What do you got? What you got to do with him? What can you gain from this, right? And what agreement have the temple of God with idols, right? And we are the temple of God. So what agreement do we have with idols and with idolatry and idolatrous ways, being around idolatrous people, right? Seeking things that cause our spirit to go against our God and to rebel against him, right? That's idolatry. For ye are the temple of the living God. As God have said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate, said Yahweh, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and will be a father unto you, and you shall be my sons and my daughters, said the Lord Almighty. So we have to come out of this world and this society, Babylon the Great, the land of confusion, right? Where we have learned nothing but idolatry. We have learned nothing but how to go against our God, right? And with that, I yield.
God, all praise to the Most High. Brother made many, many phenomenal points, right? Two of the main points he made was come out from among them. All right. In multiple ways do our people, all right, drink of that cup, drink of that cup of our oppressors out of the ways of the heathen, right? And Brother Casadia can attest to this. You know, we both come from the same university. When you go to Sam Houston State University, right, they have a statue at exit 112 off of 45, a graven image, man. Where they say, hey, man, where you at? Hey, I'm passing up the white man right now. That's the way we were used to refer to that statue, man. It used to be like, I want to say, man, probably roughly about like 200 feet high, right? This is the book of Second Kings, chapter 17 and verse 10. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen, whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. For they served idols, whereof the Lord had said unto them, ye shall not do this thing. So the Most High God, all right, seen his people, all right, and was very angry with them. His people was doing what? Serving and worshiping graven images in high places. The same thing happens today. When our people go and they take pictures by Mount Rushmore, when they take pictures by the Sam Houston statue, right outside the Sam Houston State University, the campus, right, and in other ways, right, what Brother Aharon was talking about, astrology, right? They make graven images of, uh, I guess they would call me a so-called Capricorn, I guess, and that's when they make a goat into a horse's, like it's a goat head, I think, with an actual horse body. It's weird, man. And our people worship these things and they become heavily invested in them, and they think that this is the way. They think this is the way. This is how I am. This is how I'm supposed to be. This is my horoscope. Hey, this statue, this is where I come from. This is where I got my degree. You see what I'm saying? This is what made me, right? Let's go to the law. Let's go to the law. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 26 and verse 1. Ye shall make you no idols, nor a graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall ye set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your God. So it doesn't even matter if it's whitewashed or not, right? It shouldn't be a graven image. Either way it go, you're going into the ways of the heathen. You're drinking from that cup. You got to come out from among them, like the brother Haran was talking about. So when you look at the album of Young Dolph, how he kind of changed the form of the dollar bill, and he put a little taper fade on one of the dead presidents, put a blunt in his mouth, had red eyes, stuff like that. Tried to make it seem like he was black, bro. It's all the same, and it's all stupid and ridiculous. And our people got to come out from them ways. And just like the brother was talking about, how he trained a brother who was real invested into, astrology. I think we all got a co-worker like that. Matter of fact, the Eve that do my hair, first time she met me, what she say? She say, Frank, what's your sign? You quiet and reserved. When was you born? I say, man, look, that ain't how you get to know somebody. We ain't even finna do that. Hell, the sister that worked the window, she a clerk at my job, right? I drive for a company that I'm not gonna disclose on this video. And every time I go to that window and talk to her, hey, that's that Capricorn in you. That's that sis. That's not me. That's not in me. Christ is in me, and Christ is in you as well, right? You have to come out from among them, the ways of the heathen. All right. Let's actually get an account on that, right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, and I'm gonna start at verse 12. Stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so, be thou shalt be able to profit. If so, be thou mayest prevail. All right, so this is Isaiah prophesying, all right, to Israel scattered in Babylon during the Babylon captivity. He's telling them, all right, look, you've chosen these enchantments, this feel-good doctrine, these feel-good idols in your hearts. Let's see if you will prevail. Let's see if they will save you in that day. And it says what? Verse 13, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. So he's telling you death and destruction is coming. He's prophesying, okay? And we're going to see if your zodiac sign will save you. We're going to see if these horoscopes will save you. All of the stargazing, is that going to dwell? Is that going to save you from the lake of fire? Right? And it says what? Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor a fire to sit before it. Death and destruction is coming to those who believe in astrology, who believe and call themselves and recognize themselves as a Capricorn, a Pisces, a Cancer, a Libra, and all of the stupid, ridiculous things that are attached to all of these different signs. Oh, you're a Capricorn. Oh yeah, you're what they like to say. I'm very business oriented
Some bullshit.
and heavily driven, right? They say cancers are super emotional and all this old stupid crap. Hey man, it's all with what we call stereotypes. It's
Like,
ridiculous.
you sound like you know a lot about that. Like, you making me wonder, man.
Hey,
Nah, I'm
King.
just messing
Hey,
with you.
when you deal with Eve, man, they steady going into that, and they try their best to suggest. They try their best to force that upon you and prove different things, right?
Hey,
You have to
Slack,
understand.
A lot, King. Can I jump in there real quick, brother?
Jump in there. Go ahead, King. Through the spirit. Go ahead.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verse 2. Right, we're going back to the law. It says, if there be found among you within any of thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, man or woman, that hath wrought wickedness in the sight of the Lord thy God, in transgressing his covenant, and hath gone and served other gods and worshiped them, either the sun or the moon, or any of the hosts of heaven, which I have not commanded, And if it be told thee, and thou hast heard of it, and inquired diligently, and behold, it be true, and the thing certain, that such abomination is wrought in Israel. So already we saying the Lord hates that. So much so that it's called an abomination. Bro, that's gay. That's a joke. That's a
It's
joke.
like, read the next verse if you don't
I'm
mind.
gonna keep it going. I'm gonna
Okay.
keep it going. God, verse 5, it says, then shalt thou bring forth that man or that woman which have committed that wicked thing unto thy gates, even that man or that woman, and shalt stone them with stones till they die. The Lord told you verbatim, you worshiping the sun, the moon, the stars. That's an abomination, aka that's gay. Brother was cooking on Jeremiah chapter 10. I'm gonna pick it back up where we left off. This book of Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 2. It says, thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. That's what the heathens do. It says, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. The heathen do gay stuff, y'all. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the work of the hand of the workman with an axe. Right? They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. Y'all should already know what that's going into. A Christmas tree. Your Christmas tree is an idol. Not only are we not supposed to be celebrating that wicked holiday anyway, but you have to set up an idol and worship it, and that's how you keep that holiday, right? That's how you keep it. The Lord gonna cook on these idols. Verse 5, he says, they are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. These things are inanimate objects. They don't talk back to you, but you're worshiping them, right? Said they must needs be born because they cannot go. You got to carry them and take them everywhere that they end up at. They can't move on their own, right? Says, be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good, right? These idols are nothing. They are nothing but your ticket to destruction. And I'm gonna get one more precept and I'm gonna drop it there. It's the book of First Corinthians, chapter 10, and verse number 14. It says, wherefore, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry. I speak as to wise men. Judge ye what I say. The cup of blessing which we bless, is it not of the communion of the blood of Hamashiach? The bread which we break, is it not the communion of the body of Hamashiach? For we being many are one bread and one body, for we are all partakers of that one bread. Behold, Israel after the flesh, are not they which eat of the sacrifice partakers of the altar? What say I then? That the idol is anything, or that which is offered in sacrifice to idols is anything. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God. And I would not have ye should have fellowship with devils. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and and of the table of devils.
It's
It's
like,
plain.
what precept is that again?
That's First Corinthians chapter 10, verse 14 through 21.
Con.
You cannot be in idolatry and say that you're serving the Most High. The Lord just told you that. And whatever you do in idolatry, you are sacrificing unto devils. And with that, I yield.
Con. I'm gonna get one account and then we can shut it down. We're coming up on an hour, and I know brothers gotta make moves, right? So what I wanna do is I wanna get an account on a good example on how not to commit idolatry, how to show the ideal worship of the Most High God, your God, the God of Israel, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? So I got the book, all right, A Bell of the Dragon, chapter 1 and verse number 3. Now the Babylonians had an idol called Baal, and there was spent upon him every day them accompanying together, who answered unto a home, Salaki, Salaki. I'm going to start it over. Baal of the Dragon, chapter 1, verse 3. Now the Babylonians had an idol called Baal, and there were spent upon him every day 12 great measures of fine flour, and 40 sheep, and 6 vessels of wine. And the king worshipped it and went daily to adore it. All right. And adore it is going into making it more beautiful. All right. Beautifying it. What he did was he went every day to this idol. All right. And placed these things upon it to make it look better. But Daniel worshiped his own God. And the king said unto him, why doest not thou worship Baal? Who answered and said, because I may not worship idols made with hands, but the living God, who hath created the heaven and the earth, and hath sovereignty over all flesh. Then said the king unto him, thinkest thou not that Baal is a living God? Seest thou not how much he eateth and drinketh every day? So King of Babylon is saying, hey, look, this is a living God. It eats and it drinks. But Daniel is saying what? I worship my God. I worship the God who created the heavens and the earth, the creator of all things. He created all this foolishness here, right? Picking up verse 7. Then Daniel smiled and said, O king, be not deceived, for this is but clay within and brass without, and did never eat of drink of anything. This is not a living or breathing God, okay? This is nothing but clay and brass. I worship the God of Israel, the creator of all this. That's who I serve. So I think that was a very phenomenal way of how Daniel, all right, in the Babylonian captivity, he served his God. He was set apart. And that's how we have to do in this truth. This is how we have to do as a people, right? I'm going to get one more. We're going to go to Exodus. No, I'm not going to get that one. We're going to go to Second Kings, all right? Then I'm going to shut it down, all right? Second Kings chapter 23, right? This is the book of Second Kings chapter 23 and verse number 14. And it reads, and he brake in pieces the images and cut down the groves and filled their places with the bones of men. Moreover, the altar that was at Bethel and the high place which Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin, had made, both that altar and the high place, he brake down and burned the high place and stamped it small to powder and burned the grove. Hey, so this is King Josiah, okay? This is King Josiah destroying the altars, the high places, and he literally tears apart the tombs, the memorials of men, pulled out the bones, crushed the altars, all of these things. He destroyed the idols and idolatrous artifacts, man. This is another phenomenal way of how we keep the law of Deuteronomy chapter 20. Was it Deuteronomy chapter 7, right? Deuteronomy chapter 7, and I think verse 25, right? And it says what? The graven images of their gods shall ye burn with fire. Thou shalt not desire the silver or gold that is on them, nor take it unto thee, lest thou be snared therein, for it is an abomination to the Lord thy God. Right? So both Daniel and King Josiah, they seen and they knew this commandment. They stood by the Most High God, man. They were set apart. They didn't commit idolatry. They wasn't involved in those things, right? They feared the Lord, and that's what we have to do in this truth. That's what we have to do it as a people. All right. So I'm Brother Kazak with the sons of Zion Israelites. I love y'all. Hey,
You good,
don't
Kasadi?
commit idolatry. Be set apart.
Khan.
Kill your
And
idols, Israel.
Shalom, y'all. Hope it was edifying. Hope we was able to bring something to your remembrance. Hope y'all have a blessed week. Shalom.
Shalom.